are you looking at this the game that really makes us all freak out about the season, or are you still kind of like, it's the NFC East, we'll dust them like a lot of teams do?
I think the division's wrapped up because I think one more win gets it done, especially against Washington. But I can see if, you're one of the 20,000 people left that are Washington fans, that if you sweep Dallas, that would put you, just looking at those two games, that'd put the Cowboys at 8-6 and you at 7-6.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Where the records are now. I know there's the New York game between there, and I don't know who Washington plays in between there. But they can look at it that way and say, we would only be one game back or a half game back, and we'd have the tiebreaker. So I can see where you could look at it being a Washington fan and saying, if we sweep Dallas, we have a legitimate chance to win this thing. But I feel like the Cowboys, with the schedule that they have, are going to beat the Giants and will probably win one more game, and that would just wrap it up, and Washington couldn't catch them.
Did you say you don't know what Washington's schedule looks like after that? You want to hear it?
Sure.
Cowboys,
all right.
Eagles,
Tough
Cowboys,
yeah.
Eagles,
yeah.
Giants. That's like,
wow.
They're all NFC division opponents the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And they've already beaten the Giants once this year. I don't know how they're going to fare against the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't know that I'm as afraid of Washington as I still might be about, Philadelphia and what their schedule might lend itself to there at the end of the season, Kevin. But
okay.
I was talking to my friend Seymour down at Will Call Bar last week, and he was like, hey, the Washington team scares me. They do. What is it about them that scares you? Is it because you don't know? Is it? I keep hearing people say that Heineke kind of has this Romo quality about him, and is that it? Is that what scares you? Their defense, is that something that really is frightening about this team, or is it just that they are the current 4-game winning streak team, and you're like, hey, hold on, let's put a stop to this real fast?
Honestly, I think it's that last one. I really do think it's like, you look at the winning streak, it's tough to piece together a winning streak in the NFL. And when you get to 4, you're like, all right, well, I have to at least take a look. And there is a quality win on there, because you started off with the perplexing win over the Bucs. But other than that, you've run through a whole bunch of teams that, like, none of them are actively bad, but they're fine. And so the fact that, they've been able to win 4 in a row is impressive. Corey, what is your take then on the divisional race? Are you like looking at this game this weekend and you're like, this is a humongous game?
Oh yeah, I mean it is a division opponent, so it has to be a humongous game. But how many more times do you have? You have them again. So like, that's another opportunity to learn something from this game. I'm not going to be happy if they lose, though. I'll tell you that.
Sure.
Like, I'll walk in all ticked off. If they play sloppy, I'll be happy, Kevin, because hey, winning a football game is hard in the NFL.
That's
Sean.
true.
But yeah, man, I'm not looking at like, I would rather win this game and go ahead and say, okay, now we're closer to sealing this thing up and closing the lid on this season and moving towards the playoffs.
But even with the win, because you said closer, even with a win, you're not ready to kick your feet as a fan. I know the team shouldn't do that. You're not ready to kick your feet up and go, we won the division.
No, because it does matter what I just did see a text come in. Are you concerned about Gardner Minshew mania? Like, you saw him in his first games for football teams. He's really, really good.
Yes.
Right? His first game for Jacksonville.
My brother-in-law was texting me about that.
They lost, but he still was amazing. Like, does that make you? Are they looking at that going, hey, we need to start Gardner instead of Jalen Hurts for the rest of the season?
Well, that would really throw apart my idea that Jalen Hurts has earned another season. If you're able to see one game of Gardner Minshew and you're like,
that's it.
You know what? Maybe this should be the guy.
It's the Nick Foles conversation all over again.
Then we have all kinds of problems. Yeah,
I get the Cowboys haven't played that great. I just think that they're going to easily win 2 more games. And I think even 1 more gives you a great possibility of winning this division. 2 more locks it in easily.
Let's just say, like, the math of it aside, which I definitely get, they win this weekend, and they win by
Cowboys.
Yeah. You think this division is over?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they'll lose out, but I think even if they lost out, I still think they would probably win the division. And I don't think they'll lose out. They would put them 3-3 in their division, because if you win, you'd be 3-0. And then if you were to lose to New York, Washington, and Philadelphia to end the season, I don't think they will, but in your scenario, they do. I still think they would win the division.
I'm just still looking, Kevin. I don't understand how Washington can have a negative point differential by like 51 points. 51 points.
Right.
And be
where they
like
are
in this conversation that we're having.
Okay.
Like they're every other team in our division. Nope, sorry. The Giants are like 62 points down. But yeah, they're in the conversation at a negative point differential in a bad way.
So one of the things for that is they've won 3 in a row by combined 10 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one before against the Bucs,
29-19.
yeah, they won by 10. But the other 3 in a row, they've won by a combined 10 points. And then they have some thrashings on their record from earlier in the season.
So does that kind of like put you in that same spot? We talk about the Rangers and their 1-point wins that one year, and you're like, this isn't going to last. That's how I feel about Washington. Is I don't think they're a hot team that's going to ride this all the way through the playoffs. I think that they are in the middle of this streak where they have some confidence. Some other teams are muddling, and they're picking up some wins. Like over Carolina, don't believe that's a big deal. Over Seattle, don't believe that's a big deal. The Raiders
are a little tricky because they've been in the tailspin, except for when we bailed them out.
Yeah, and then you saw the non-pass interference called plays on everybody's tweeting about those. So like I don't believe Washington. So but I also, Kevin, I'm never gonna sit back and say it's all done with until we can put on math that it is.
Okay, I understand your logic. I'm going to tell you that I will also be prepared with Mike Bassick to unfurl the mission accomplished banner.
Wow.
If you win, because this and nothing can go wrong.
If you need a banner, just let me know.
Oh, great.
I know a guy.
So this comes at the perfect time to figure out a lot of the things that you just said. If Washington defeats Dallas, well, then clearly they'll have the advantage in hand. They'll only be a game back, and you better give a damn after that. But if they don't, then it'll be a 3-game, and then even on Philly, worst case scenario, 2.5, and you'd already beaten both of them. And so I, as a fan, will kick my feet up and say NFC East is over.
And you get to play the Giants still on your schedule.
Yeah.